Hey, what is up? In this video, I'll show you how to save and load variables the most efficient way that will also help you save time. So let's jump straight into the video. The first thing I'm going to do is make a new folder called save and load. You don't have to call it this, but that's just what I'm gonna call it. Save and load. In here, we need to make a couple things. For starters, let's make a save class. So in here you can type in save game object, and this I'll call sg underscore save game. Probably not the best naming, but this is fine for now. Now let's make another blueprints here, and we are going to make a structure. I'll just call this PlayerStruct. Now, before we go into the save game objects, I'm going to open up PlayerStruct. And in here, I'm just going to add in some variables, like say score. I want to save the score system that we're going to be doing in here. So make this an integer as well. And save that. Now let's go to SG save game. So in the save game object here, this is where we're going to be doing all the save and load functionality. Usually I see people do this in like their player or something like that, which I don't entirely understand why. I find it to be more efficient and less time consuming to do this in the save game object, to do all the functions and whatnot. In here, it just saves a whole lot more time to do it this way. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to make a new function here called load game. Well, actually load player. And in here, out of load player, we can say, does save game exist? The slot name, we can plug this straight into the function here. We'll keep it the same slot name here. The default value though, I'm just gonna make this save. You make this whatever or just keep it blank, but for me, I'm just gonna make a default value for it. Now hold on B and left click to get a branch. And out of here on true, we can load a game from slots. So load game from slots. In the slot name, we can just get our slot name variable from our function. So slots name, like so. In false, we're not going to do anything on that because we don't really need to. So on the return value, we can right click and promote to local variable. And we will just call this sg underscore ref, short for reference. So out of here, we can get a cast to our save game object here, which is called sg save game. That's what it's called here. Now, we don't have the variable in here yet, so make a new variable. And I'm just going to call this PlayerStruct, because that is the structure that we made here. That's what we want to get. So the variable type, make this the PlayerStruct, like so. And out of the cast, we want to get our PlayerStruct variable right here. And drag this variable on top of the function over here to get the return value of this. Now I'm going to rename the output of this to see load. And this will make more sense once we actually do that. Actually, I might be able to show you right now. Yeah, right here. Load. I can right click on this and split structs, and it says load score. It just makes more sense to do it this way, and it just looks more clean. So that's it for the load. Now we need to do the save player. So make a new function called save player. Now in here, but before we start adding inputs in here, we'll just drag our PlayerStruct and set, and we drag this into the inputs here. And for this input name, I'm just gonna call this save, because like I showed you earlier with the load player, drag out the save player here and split struct this, save score. It just makes more sense. It looks more clean. It makes sense. So that's why I call this save. You don't need this PlayerStruct, but we need another input, and this will need to be our save game object. So it'll be sg save game, and I'll just call this save ref. Now I'll move this up like so. So out of the save ref here, which I'll actually just get the variable save ref, more clean. So out of here we can set PlayerStructs, and this will be our save struct here. So I can drag out of here and say save. This will be our save structs. Plug this into here like so. Clean it up a bit, make it look a bit nicer. And now we can drag out of here and get a save game to slots. The save game object will be our save reference, so we can just copy this over here. And now we need a slot name, so we can just drag this out into the inputs over here. And I'm going to drag this up as well, move it in the middle. Actually, I'm going to do this as well. Get slot name. And there we go. Also for the slot name, the default value, I'm going to make this save as well. Just a name that I want to give it, just like I did for the load player. So that will automatically get this value for it. So I don't have to type it in every single time to load or save the player. So that is it for this, I believe. Now what we can do is go into our player, which I have the first person. So I'm gonna go into here. Now in here, what you can do is go in the begin play. And out of this, we can just create save game objects. And our save game object will be our SG save game. Out of here, we can right click, promote a variable, call this save ref. And our save ref here, we can actually just drag out and get our load player like so. Now this is so much easier than having to do all the functions and whatnot in every blueprint, because if you were to do this in separate blueprints instead of doing this inside of here, the functions and stuff, it just gets really repetitive and it's really time consuming sometimes. So this is just easier to do. Now out of the load, we can right click and split. Now we can have our load score, which I don't have it set up right now, so I'll make a new variable called score and make this into a integer. And there we go. And drag this out and set. Now what we can do here, I'm just going to get a one key. You don't necessarily have to do this. This is just for me to save the game whenever I want to. I mean, you would of course do this in like a pause menu or something, but I'm just gonna use a one key, and I am going to get our save reference here and save player like so. Now for the save player, the save reference here is go into the save ref right here as well. So right click on the save and split this and get our score variable. Drag this to there like so. And that is saving our variable now. So I'm just gonna get a 2 key. Let me see here, 2 key. Got a score. The indecimate. Is it indecimate? I can't remember what it is. That's integer increment int. Yes. What this does is basically adds 1 to it. So it gets our score and adds 1 to it. That's all it does. On event tick, what I'm going to do here is get my score variable and get a print string. Oh, not prompt, print. A little silly there. And I'm going to make this duration 0. Make this a different color. There we go. Oh, there we go. Into the event tick to always get it. So the one key saves it. So I'm gonna come in here, press 2, and it adds it up there on the top. I click 1, save, I'll close out, open the game again, and it's saved. I keep adding to the score, press 1, it saves, click play again, and it's saved. I would have made a whole new widget for this, but it's very time consuming, and that's not what this tutorial is about. It's not making widgets and whatnot. It's just about loading and saving variables more efficiently, I would say. So if you have other blueprints that you need to be that need to load or save variables, this is pretty much all you have to do. And if you need to, you can always make new functions inside of the save game object here. So you can always make newer functions here for like load weapons or load whatever, save whatever that you need to. And you can also add these into categories. So I can make this into a player category as well. So let's go to category, add this to the player. Same thing with the PlayerStruct. Add this to the category of the player. So now you can have different categories for different saves and loads that you want. So not all jumbled up into one area pretty much. It's more organized. We can do that as well to make it more clean, I would say. And the reason I use a struct here and not just a variable is because in here, like in the load and save player, for every variable If I didn't use a struct, I would have to plug in that variable into here. Every variable. And that's very time consuming. So it's easier to get a player struct and then just add all the variables that you need to save and load, and just use that player struct into the load and save player. It's just a lot more it's less time consuming, I would say. It's just more efficient. English.